Okay, today we're going to be talking about Manychat and how to integrate that with the new Botsheets API. That is the API that allows a Manychat bot to use GPT to, for lead generation and customer support, but in the way that Botsheets does it, which I'll take you through. And if you're not familiar with Manychat, it's a visual chatbot builder that provides some workflow. Uh, in the way they used to do it is that people would build these funnels where they'd say, if the user says this, then do that, and then do this, and they'd construct a funnel, and they'd never work because in the middle of the funnel, somebody would, the end user, the prospect, they'd send a message, and the bot wouldn't understand it, and then the whole funnel would break, and the business didn't reach their goal. But now, in the age of AI, we can actually understand what the user has to say. And we can, if they do ask a question, Botsheets will answer it and then refocus them by asking a question to collect some data from the customer and get them towards the end of that funnel. So it's much more, we can still use this tool because it does offer some benefits in terms of managing customer contacts. It's more like a CRM for chatbots, and it has integrations with Facebook Messenger, Instagram DM, and WhatsApp, which is also valuable. And that's how we think of Manychat as having value is that we have our own Botsheets bot currently just for Messenger and Instagram DM. So we build with some of the tools that we like Manychat, and we use our own API as I'm going to show you here. Now let's dive into the Botsheet side. You can see here we've got a chatbot that I've already built. I've just called it Botsheets for Manychat. And one of the things that Botsheets does really well is you tell AI what data you want to collect, and it's going to figure out what questions to ask, when to ask them, and how to ask them, so that it can collect the data you need, and so you can get towards your goal, your lead generation goal. It's going to nurture the lead through a chat session. It's going to automate that funnel with AI. So right now I have a name. That's one data point that I've added, and I've added an email. And I provide some description about what the data point is because that helps AI have some context. What is, I mean, these are pretty obvious, but if I want to know, you know, time frame, right? That could mean anything. So I could put customers time frame for making a purchase. And then I'll add another, maybe it's call it budget and how much the customer has to spend. Um, yeah. So you can imagine you're trying to sell product or real estate or whatever it is. You're gonna want to collect some data. That data is going to get written to a spreadsheet. There's other ways of retrieving the data as well. We email the data. Or you can use our API and we can store that data, anywhere in, any CRM, in Manychat. We're not going to cover the storage of the data in this session, but this is the idea here. And I can set these as required if I want, and then I can click Save Changes every time I want to add data points to my experience, to my chatbot. I click Save, and because I've made changes to data, as you can see, if you make changes to your data, retraining AI is required. So you just click that button. That process all happens in the background. So we're pretty good here. Let me tell you that you'll see here if you won't be able to monitor this chatbot when it's connected with our API. As we have here, we have these are for our web chatbots. So our API just is an extension of this bot, but you won't monitor it here. You can monitor the transcript in Manychat if you're using that integration. Let's now jump right into the specifics of the integration. I'll go back to the bot settings, and I'm going to go into Webhook API, and this is where we programmatically send and receive data. And if you're a developer, you're going to be familiar with some of the concepts in here. Manychat is a no-code tool, so it's designed for marketers and small businesses and agencies. So there are small little, code snippets or JSON snippets, but you don't have to do any programming. And that's why I'm going to show you how to integrate with this tool. But if we click into this API and documentation button here, you'll see that we have a link to the API documentation. And if you're a developer, you'll be familiar with this format. And these are some of the things you can do with our API, like sending a message and having that, you'll get back a response after that message has been processed with AI. You can get the conversation histories. You want the transcript, you want it somewhere else. You don't want to just access it in the Botsheets dashboard. No problem. You can send it anywhere you want. And the same with the data points. You want the bot to collect some data, but you don't want it just stored in a Google Sheet or in an email. You want it stored in a CRM, or you want it stored in like Manychat or something. You can use that endpoint as well. So we'll come back to this documentation in a minute, but that's one piece of the API is the documentation. You can talk to other Botsheets users in our Discord channel specifically for this API, including the team, and the engineering team is on Discord. And you're going to need a Botsheets key. So you'll need to generate a key. And this key is applicable to every chatbot on your account. So if you've generated a key and you've already added it to one chatbot, and then you create a new chatbot, you don't create a new key because it'll invalidate the old key. So you really only need to generate a key once, and that's tied to your account. And this is don't be confused. OpenAI has an OpenAI API key that also begins with an SK, and it's different. That's something different. This is a key that Botsheets generates, and it's going to be generating it. And once it's generated, I'll just click. I'll do it again. You'll see. So it generates the key, and once I've left this page or left this section, it'll turn to stars like you saw it before, and I can't access it again. So you may want to, if you generate a key, copy it and paste it and put it in a safe place if you wanted to use the same key in multiple bots. Otherwise, if I generate a new key, this key is no longer active. This is just a unique identifier for the chatbot, and we're going to need that in a second too. But let's jump over to the Manychat side again, and let's look at this flow. This is the default reply. So every message a user sends this Manychat bot is going to hit this flow. That's assuming you're not using any of Manychat's keyword rules. They built a system to handle inbound messages in 2017, but those never really worked. Fortunately, we have AI and the ability to connect to AI, so you're going to have every message that a user sends is going to hit this what's called a default reply in the automation section, and it's going to trigger that message is going to trigger some, we'll call them events. Now, let me just show you what the main event is, and then the extra things that I've added, which is a conditional statement here, a condition. The first thing that's important in this request is this external request, and it's going to send a message to, it's going to relay a message that the Manychat bot received, whether it's with Facebook or Instagram DM or WhatsApp. It's going to relay that message to Botsheets. We're going to process that with AI. We're going to return a response, and then we can display the response here. Now, this field is just so we can the value is constantly changing. Nothing is hard coded. It's all dynamic and happening, and messages are going back and forth. And every time your Botsheets bot has a response, it's just going to update this field. And just to be safe, we clear that field value answer that we've created that custom user field. If I click into it, you can see here that this is a custom user field that's going to store a value. It's like a variable, and it's a text field. So if you're familiar with Manychat, then this is a very simple concept that everyone understands. And this idea of using fields in messages for variable data and clearing fields and setting fields, that's really the basics of Manychat as far as I'm concerned. And this flow builder just allows you to visually set things up. All the magic happens behind the scenes in terms of processing a message with AI, which I'm going to show you now. So a message comes in. I've created a field here, this user field. It's tied to the user who's messaging the bot. And what it's doing is it's going to capture the date and time of when the message was received. Um, and it's going to store that in the user's profile. And that's why we have this condition here that says, have we stored this date time value already? And if we haven't, let's do that. And if we have a value, if it's not, if the value exists, it's not unknown, then let's process the request. And that's because this date time value that we're going to store for the user who's going to hit this the first time they send a message. And I've created this user field. I just called it chat dash time. You can call it whatever you want, as long as it's the goal is to capture a unique identifier in some kind of and the date time format works well for that. Like, you're going to need the difference of just instead of just this being an ongoing conversation where it's setting, you're sending messages and answering questions, and it's just like a basic knowledge base. Botsheets has a purpose, which is it's for lead generation, and it's going to generate questions, and it's going to answer those. It's going to not only answer questions, it's going to generate questions to collect data and funnel the user towards a goal of your getting the lead. And so we need to know what if the user has been asked these questions before. Because if they don't, if otherwise, without some unique identifier for the conversation, there's no context. And you might just be, every time the user sends a message, you're just going to be asking the same questions over and over. And that's annoying. That's not a great user experience. So at least we have a unique identifier for the conversation that we can track on the bot sheet side and be like, oh, I've already collected this data. I don't need to answer that. I don't need to ask those questions again. The user's already given the data. So we create this user field called chat time. Remember, it's a date field. And when the user hits this box, we just need to store a unique value. And a timed date stamp is a unique value that we can work with. The name isn't. The user's name is not unique because people can have the same name. And Manychat doesn't provide any other unique identifier. So we need to create one. A developer who's not using Manychat would know what to do. They would know how to generate a unique identifier that we can, to track this. But Manychat is a no-code tool. They don't, we have to kind of hack our way around how to generate this unique thing, and that's how we would do it. Now let's look at the request, and remember that unique identifier, because I'll explain where it fits in here. The first thing you're going to do is we're going to want to post. So you're going to want to set that to post, not get. It's post. That's important. You're posting a request to the Botsheets server, and you're going to post it to this URL. This is known as an endpoint or a request URL. But you can get that URL in the documentation. See, method post. There's the URL. And you're just going to want to paste that into there. They have this field to select a contact to use their data in the request. So this is I don't know what this is. Don't use my name. I'm not even sure what this is for. It certainly doesn't have any impact on your request to Botsheets. But don't put Josh Barkin in there. Put your own name. Because if it's a customer support thing where they I don't even want to talk about it. I don't know what it is, but it's of no importance. I just can't seem to proceed without putting a name. So I put my name. Okay, so, and you put your name. So here we have the headers. You're going to want to put authorization as the key, exactly as I have here. Capital A. Just copy that. See, I can zoom in. And then you're going to want to have the value. So this is the Botsheets API key that I was showing you earlier. And it's got to be set up like this. Bearer, space, and the key. So I have this key in here, but let's go show you how we can, we're going to generate a new key. Okay, I just generated this new key, and I'm going to copy that key. Remember, this is for every chatbot. So if I generate a new key and I have a bot that's using the old key won't work. Just keep that in mind if you're building multiple chatbots. It's bearer space, and you paste in your Botsheets API key, and then you have content dash type, just like I have there, at capital C, capital T, and that's application slash JSON. Okay, so that's the request. Let's click over on, you can see there's tabs here. So you click on the body tab. Now this is the body of the request, and in the body of the request, there's three pieces of data that are being sent, and they're encoded as JSON data because that will allow Botsheets to understand it. And I'm going to start with this what you see on the bottom here, which is the last text input. This is what's called as a system field. Okay, and you can see how encode to JSON is checked. You make sure that is checked. But if I click that, and I zoom out a bit, this is a system field. So Manychat has got a bunch of fields that it's collecting, and one of them is every time the user sends a message to a Manychat bot, it's getting stored in this last text input field, and then we can just use that to relay a message to Botsheets. That's going to be the message that we process with AI. And it's a field, it's variable, and here's just sort of a preview of what it looks like. This is a message. The last message I sent our Botsheets bot was hey. So it gets stored, and if I send another message, the value gets updated. And remember, keep this checked, because if I don't check it, then I'm just going to get this error here. So keep that checked. Now let's look at that bot ID. This is, you might have more than one chatbot, or we just, we need to know which chatbot you've trained AI with. So that bot ID should be easy to understand. You need a unique identifier for that, and you get that right here, right? You just copy that, and I've already pasted it in. Oh, this is a different bot. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, I just pasted it in here, and now I have I'll save that, and it'll close the window, and I'll want to update, and I can update it, but let's go back. Before we do that, I want to show you the rest. Whoops. This is that chat time thing. The chat time is that value that we're capturing, and it gives us a value for what we call a conversation ID. So you need to have this exactly like I've set it up here, conversation ID, and you just include that chat time variable, which is not a system field, it's a custom user field. And you can see here, I've actually created a custom format. So it gives you it's a time date field. So you have a bunch of different options. Or you can edit it. And I just edited it. And you can see here that, I added the year, the month, the day, the hour, the second. And I can add something else. Like, it doesn't really matter. Just a year. Maybe I'll put the year again. All we need is a unique identifier. This is a preview of what the data looks like. But this is going to give us a unique identifier for the conversation. Again, you want to make sure it's encoded to JSON. Conversation ID, bot ID, and whatever the user is sending. Now we need to get back. There's nothing in response. You don't have to worry about that. You can test the response. But you want to make sure that if you click into the response mapping tab, you have message. And then where when Botsheets sends back a message to reply to the user, you want it stored in that answer field. So there's that text-based custom user field called answer, and then we can save it. Oh, let me go back to just show you this. If you want to make sure it's working, you can just click test this request, and you should get back a response. And so you can see 200 means it worked. Anything that isn't 200 is not going to be the right, it's not working. So when you get a 200 response, and you can click into these, and it shows you the data that's being, the request body, and the headers, and all the things we set up. So we know it's working. And yeah, so now that we have all this set up, You just want to make sure that you click update, and you're going to want to preview it, see it working. I just have this field here. I don't use it that often, or if I want to reset the the flow so that it's only asking me the questions, set of questions once, and then if I test again, I can clear out I can clear out things by previewing this, and it'll clear out the field, and then I can do my testing again. So that's why I leave that there. But when you're live and you want it working for all your users, this is pretty much a good setup. And when you click preview, you have two options here. So close this. Interface is a little slow, but okay. They give you the ability to preview it in Manychat, but you're going to want to preview it in Facebook. This feature doesn't work very well, but you want to preview it in Facebook because that's what your customers experience, and you're going to want to test it, experiencing it like your customers. So this just makes more sense. You can see here, I'm on the Botsheets page, and I've got, I started a conversation, and it generated some content from ManyChat, and now I might say I need some help. I'm just typing anything randomly. That message is going to hit that default reply in ManyChat. We're going to process it with AI using Botsheets, and he says, absolutely, I'm here to help. Could you please share your email with us so we can assist you more effectively, right? So this is great because you can now, it's going to collect some email information, and you have the intelligence. So if I just type some stuff like this, right, or whatever, it knows it's not an email. And it seems there might have been some little mix-up. Could you please share your email with us so we can, right? So sure. So I'll share my email, and then it's going to start going through a series of questions, and I can ask it questions like, "Great, we've got your email down as Josh, but could you please tell me your name?" So you can imagine. It's going to ask a bunch of questions, and I might ask it some questions like, you know, um, what's your time frame? So remember that was a data point for implementing the Botsheets Manychat app. Remember that we had this here. Let me go back. Data. Yeah, see time frame. So it's generating questions to collect this data from me, and I can just say 2 months. Shouldn't take that long. It should have said 2 minutes. But you can get an idea for your use case, that this is really the best way. Even though it takes a few steps to set up, you're going to get a much more delightful conversational experience when you let AI generate the questions, decide on the order of which it's going to collect data, and you know. Uh, It'll, what else, I can, what's the weather? I can ask it unrelated questions. It'll handle that because you can set up rules like that in the prompt editor with Botsheets. I understand you might have other questions, but could you please share your budget for integrating the Botsheets Manychat app? This will help us tailor the support and resources we offer you. So you can see this is fully Botsheets at work. It knows it has a goal. Its goal is to collect data from the user. And as the user or the prospect, I have questions too. I'm going to ask it questions, and if it's not relevant, then the bot is just going to refocus on what its goal is. Its goal is to discover about me and collect some actionable data. So I hope that helps. Remember, we have the documentation here. It's really designed for developers, but just follow along with this video, and you'll learn more about using the Botsheets API with Manychat, and not to be confused with our Botsheets Manychat action. So this was a different type of automation that we built with Manychat a few years back, where you can see here it's a different type of application that allows you to manually configure these flows to interact with Google Sheets, and you can do all types of automations. But that doesn't use AI. You can use the Manychat action, and you can use our API. But these are separate. They're essentially separate products. Uh, the API is obviously easier to set up, or at least it takes less time to set up, because you can. It's just an extension of a web chat that you've built with Botsheets. Hope that helps. And let us know in the comments or reach out on Discord and tell us more about your experience. And keep in mind that you're going to probably want to know how to get your data that your bot's collecting stored in Manychat. That's going to be for a different session, but we have the ability to do that as well. So, yeah, we're here for you. Thanks a lot.